right? So Cuddy is a brown rat, and he's a boy, right? And I went to buy puppets, because again, being totally new, having never been into a kid's classroom, that's Jody. So Jody's a girl, she's a bunny, obviously, and when she's a little shy, so when, the kids are making noise, she goes back into her hat, right? That's what happens. So when there was a little bit too much noise, she was hiding, and the kids were all of a sudden silent. But anyway, so it all started like that. So the first time we went into the classroom, the puppets, we were not really, we were prepared with the book and everything, but we didn't have any specific activities for the puppets. So what we did is, we were reading the books, yes, kindergarten books, and the puppets were like behind us, they were approving when something was going, right. When something was not good, they were like, oh no, no, and sometimes they were even like this, like, oh, this is not good. And so they were and they were interacting with the kids and stuff. So sometimes I was just reading the book and, she was, doing things on her own right there. So what we noticed is that the kids absolutely loved it and really, really loved it. I remember the first time they were here, it was silence in the classroom, and they were all looking at Jody, approving and stuff. And Jody and Cody were actually interacting with them. They were asking questions and stuff. So we were still reading the book and doing the activity. And during the activity, actually, Jody and Cody were going around and they were asking questions, and the kids were actually talking to the puppets about what they were doing. So it really worked. And seeing how it worked, we're like, okay, so let's have a little bit more fun with it, right? So we started to write stories. So for each theme every month, for example, accept and value each person, what we were doing is that we would write a story about that, and Jody and Cody would interact and say something about the theme. Like, for example, and there were two of us, so again, my partner's not here, but so we were like that. So Joanne was basically here, and Jody was here, and there was a story. For example, there was one day, what was that lesson? It was about getting along. I don't remember the title of the book, but it's getting along. So Jody and Cody had a fight that day, and they were not agreeing on what to do because, Cody was playing by himself and had taken a toy, just for him, and Jody was really upset about that. So they had a little conversation about, how to deal with that, and at the end, of course, they agreed. So, and again, it didn't take much time. It took maybe 3 to 5 minutes out of the entire time that we had. It was about 4 to 5 minutes. But the engagement of the kids was really incredible. And at the end of the year, what happened is that the kids actually lined up to hug the puppets because they were not going to see them during summertime. So, to give you and we got super good feedback from the teacher as well. Mrs. Lee was really happy with that, and she actually said at the end of the year that we should continue with puppets in first grade. She was like, the kids really, because it's more for younger kids, but fourth, fifth grades probably not, even second grade. And my daughter was in second grade last year, and I didn't do it in second grade. But first grade, I'm thinking maybe we'll try it. I have 2 partners this year. We'll see what happens. But I think it might still be working. But I think, so at the end of the year, so again, at the beginning of the year, the puppet was just behind. At the end of the year, what we would do is that we would go in. The puppets would go for 2 or 3 minutes about something that was going on. I remember one of the lesson was try and stick with it. So, Jody didn't want to do aerobic class because she was not really good at it, and she quit. And then we said, okay, so the kids were listening to the story, so she quit. It took 2 minutes, and then we were like, okay, now we're going to read the book to you guys, and we'll see if you can help Jody find a solution to her problem. So we would read the book, and then at the end, we'd ask the kids, remember Jody, she doesn't want to try aerobics because she thinks she's really not good at it. What do you think she should do? And based on the book, and then they would, talk to the puppet and give advice and stuff like that. So it was really, I don't know, some people, might like the idea, some people might not. I know that the kids, really, quite frankly, it was working. It was something that really worked.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. It was great. Aline, you want to talk a little bit about the... Okay, so we'll tell you about the other technique. Since it's more for geared toward older children, and probably the kinders, I don't know if they have to go so that we can move it along, then we'll do that later. So right now I think that I've talked